Alex, line up the
Yeah. Which speaker are you? Like fourth? Eighth? Okay,
the
cool.
last speaker.
Okay, cool.
We open this, yeah.
What?
We open this.
I called the record secretaries to give the minutes of the last public business meeting.
The last public business meeting of the College Historical Society took place on Wednesday, the 8th of February, with Michael Coleman in the chair. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to part 2 of the School of Physics inaugural Salem Witch Trials. Set phases to roast, gentlemen, because this is about to get messier than the opening night of 50 Shades of Grey. So far, we've brought you a fresher's guide to the hiss. Now buckle up, kiddos, because here comes the hiss guide to the freshers. And where to begin? This is a large group of diverse freshers. Conor O'Malley! Conor, I want you to imagine yourself as an Argentinian naval vessel, and Luke here is Margaret Thatcher.
Conor is such a special snowflake. He should come with his own trigger warning. That is, pull your trigger.
Man, Luke, that's hardly fair. It's hardly fair. I mean, Conor is something of a macho man, right? I mean, how many times have you been injured shifting?
James, being keep us afraid when the lights come on doesn't count.
Still, Luke, it could be worse. You could waste your meaningless life actively supporting an asinine cause like, oh, I don't know, the Green Party.
We'll move on. Catherine, how does it feel to be a gender tutor?
It's not fair. Catherine won his mains this year. By the skin of her teeth, admittedly. I mean, she almost lost to a man who spent 7 minutes talking about biscuits, for Christ's sake. And Nicole, token friend for a token speaker, I suppose. Niall, I apologise, but only truly big deals get a roast this evening.
Baron. By of course I mean B-A-R-R-E-N, like Sam's mind. Did you know that Sam managed to get himself enrolled in Harley's, the all-women speaking competition this year? So glad the operation was a success.
Now, in the film of Liam Smith's life, Liam's played by Karl Marx's left foot. Smelly, overlooked, and hair in all the wrong places. Seriously though, we feel like Liam would probably be played by the iceberg from Titanic, because he sinks just about everything he comes into contact with. How's Valentine's Day?
We'd like to thank Pearson for taking the time out of his busy schedule to go to Carabbaland, or wherever the fuck he spent it. Nice of you to send to our material playmates. So, in all seriousness, we'd like to make it clear that Pearson in no way represents nanoscience or the School of Physics. The only thing nano about him is his relevancy in this debate. Well, this seems to be most of the freshers, like a nicely golden brown tones, except for Conor, of course, who would have to be identified by his dental records.
To the family and friend, singular, of Conor O'Malley, may he have the peace in roasting death that we so vehemently denied him in his short but irrelevant life. He died as he lived, dishonourably, alone, and without fanfare.
May he shed forever the right hand of our Lord, Matthew Moody.
There being no further business.
Oh my dear. We haven't quite finished with all of the questions.
Luke, are you a newspaper? Because it's a new fucking issue with you every day.
I'd like to roast you too, James, but I fear if I did, you'd just turn into ham from the button. That is flatly insulting.
I'm glad to see you invested in a proper suit this evening, Luke. With any luck, it might get you elected to committee this time.
At least you made an effort tonight, James. Have you re-waxed your face? And you changed out of your usual dad classic. Really thoughtful of you to dress for your own funeral too, which should be in a day or so if you've had your daily box of donuts.
Maybe when you break in a competition, I'll respect you enough to respond.
You know, it's true the only reason I keep James around is because my mother is always telling me that if I'm ever in trouble, I only have to outrun those I'm with. Thankfully, this advice holds for our annual examinations in May too, and that's why this guy's with me.
Look, I tried to formulate a roast based on your upper class ascendancy background, but as the definition of self-parody, you do all the work.
but James is best known for his cameo in the original Mary Poppins movie, in which he struggled through the memorable tune I Love to Laugh. Despite such a long and lackluster career in show business, extensive plastic surgery and many Botox interventions have kept James looking not a day older than Dolly Parton. He even has the breasts to match. Check.
Luke, I deliver a final roast, but with blood pressure that little I can work through.
Finally, we'd like to give a friendly reminder that if any of you little shits even think about going to Equity Bank this evening, we will put you in your fucking grave.
There being no further business, the meeting is
Are there any objections to me signing this as a true portrayal of the last public business?
I'm Connor's friend.
Okay, there's the one friend. So being none, I do the sign.
Right, great. First of all, just before we get into the debate proper, we're just going to reopen general business just for a few minutes. There were some motions that we left out. General business is now open.
So a series of privilege motion number 3s. Motions, congratulations to the breaking teams in the Irish Mace, that is the Karina New Brand and Ollie Donnelly for breaking through the semi-finals. I just butchered Katrina's surname. And secondly to Daniel Gilligan and Rory O'Sullivan for also making the semi-finals. Proposed Stephen James Barr, former DC. Seconded. Cool. Privilege motion number 3, motion congratulations again for the Galway Open, which we did quite well at, for the top novice speakers in the top 10, Catherine Kelly, James Johnson, and Conor O'Malley. And Liam Smith. That everyone? Cool. And following that, a motion congratulations also to Alice Kearns, ordinary member, for judging the final of the Galway Open break. And Blaine just wanted to remind us that who's in the final. So Tigran Book is a judge in just the semi-finals of the Open break. And of course, former record secretary of the Society for being the best speaker of the competition in the in-rounds and being the best speaker of the competition in the Open final. And of course, the former auditor, Michael Coleman, who's sadly dearly departed us to UCD, for judging the Pro-Am final, where I heard he made a very fair and accurate result, which I'm sure we can all agree with. Proposed Stephen James Barr, former DC.
Okay. Great. So now that we've done that, so just on to the debate properly. First of all, instead of orator turns, we have these bios this week. I'd encourage you all to read them and circle your reacts to each of them as well. That's very important. Our speakers care a lot about that. Second of all, just in terms of timing, so speeches this evening are 7 minutes in length. There'll be about the first minute and last minute as usual, which means those are protected time. The middle 5 minutes will be unprotected time, which means anyone from the floor can offer a point of information. So you just stand up, say something along the lines of on that point or point of information, or I don't know, some funny quip or something. And if the speaker accepts you, then you can ask them like a question. Please keep those about 15 seconds or less. Best phrase in the form of a joke, since I know it's like a comedy debate and stuff. So without further ado, then I'd like to hand you back over to our chair to start the debate.
Okay. Just before we start, I was thinking we'd do a text-in service. So if you have any comments to make with any speakers, you can text me. Conveniently, also, I know a lot of you want my number, so here's your opportunity. And also, I don't have to make my own jokes, that way it's easier. So my number is 086. Why don't more people have their phones out? 168 6172. So it's 086 168 6172. Or you can message me on Facebook. Sorry. Stop, Stephen. Sorry, Stephen. Okay, so without further ado, I call upon Niall Meyer to open the debate.
Honourable Chair, Mr. Auditor, ladies and gentlemen of the College Historical Society. With the famous efficiency of the HIST, they forgot to mention that there's actually a bingo round going on. But I needed them to mention that for one of my jokes to work. So I'm going to mention it right now. If you go on the HIST Freshers page, there's all these bingo rounds, and every time someone like triggers one, okay, sorry, I take that back about the HIST. Okay, so I just triggered one, and I'll invite you all to take a drink at the start of my speech. And I intend to hit quite a lot of these squares over the course of my debate. As, given the motion and the speakers speaking tonight, you will probably need a lot of alcohol to cope. 2 weeks ago, I went to the Phil version of this Freshers debate, and I noticed that it consisted of loads of fill-in jokes tenuously linked back to the motion. And I thought that this was unfair on people who actually were interested in the debate. So when I was writing my speech, I resolved to make it inclusive to people who didn't spend all their time in a GMB, basically. But then I realized something. This debate is about memes. So the only people who are actually interested in this debate are people who spend their spare time going to debates about memes. And that's just so sad. So for that reason, I actually decided not to have any kind of inclusive humor in my speech, and instead it's just full of hissed-in jokes. Sorry about that. Okay, so because ultimately the good thing about just having a speech full of hissed-in jokes is that if you guys don't laugh, it's actually your fault. Because you didn't spend enough time in the HIST, you didn't spend enough time in the GMB, you didn't spend enough time going to debates you don't actually like because you just want to go to the wine reception and get shit-faced, like some people. But, so, to begin my actual speech, this house would ban memes. What a shit motion. But that was your fault. Because there was a vote on the Facebook group and you chose this motion. So I don't know what you decided to inflict this on us, yeah?
That was the Freshers.
Oh, that was those Freshers. This is just like, I was going to take this as the perfect example of how democracy just doesn't work. Because the alternative choice would have been so much better. This house would shift and drift. Because there's just so much more material there. Like, I could have talked about the time Catherine Kelly shifted a prominent member of his committee. Or maybe I could have talked about the time Catherine Kelly shifted a prominent member of Phil committee. Or I could have talked about the time the only people Catherine Kelly has shifted all year have been members of either Phil or his committee. But I can't do those things. Because that's not the motion. And Catherine told me not to. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. I actually lost my timing there. What are we at?
3 minutes left.
3 minutes left. Okay, I had this big long roast on Pierce and Sam, but I think I'm going to give that a miss. I'll try and come back to it at the end. Pierce is not like high in the list of roast.
I thought not a big deal.
Okay. So I think it's time to move on to my first point for the debate. Incidentally, it's one of my trademark moves to start my first point, like 3 minutes left in my speech. Like, that works for competitive debates too. So, I believe we should ban memes because there is a strong correlation between people who like memes and people who are sad. And I think there is no better way to prove this than by looking at the people who just stood up and tried to give Okay, so on a similar note, we cannot mention love of memes and being kind of sad. Yeah, good timing, but without referencing the big man himself, Liam Smith. Now, Liam is a man who thrives off the likes that each of his memes get. Indeed, at times, it almost feels like each love react makes up for the love he never received. And I just want you to picture the scene every night as he sits behind the glare of his laptop, giggling as he posts another meme onto the Hist Freshers page. And he checks how many likes he's got, and then he checks it again. And then he whispers to himself as he crawls back to bed that maybe this time they'll vote him onto committee. So, like, I don't know how much time I got, but I'm running out of words. So I'm just gonna call it up there. There are loads of people here tonight that I would love to personally call out and cripple their self-esteem. But unfortunately, I don't have the time. I don't know. Right. I can't use that excuse. I don't have the wit to think of any more roasts. So I'm going to end it there. I beg you to propose for that, like, one sketchy
Thank you to Nala Mara for trying to make himself relevant. I feel California to open Facebook. Like, I have loads of friends, as you can tell from the song, chat. Okay, all right, so can we just take a minute to appreciate that it's madness to even consider banning memes, and this motion is just ridiculous. And also, thank you very much, Niall, for stealing like half of my speech. You dick. Okay, so it's ridiculous for a couple of reasons. The first being that banning memes is just in general a terrible idea and much too much effort. And the second and more important reason that this motion is ridiculous is because it won over the shift and drift motion. Like, how did that happen? I don't know. Okay, so, I mean, come on. Think about how much fun the shift and drift motion could have been. Like, Ian Wolfe was supposed to be speaking at this debate, but he can't because he's got glandular fever. Like, think about how much we could take the piss out of him if it was this house with shift and drift, but no. Also, we would hear so many embarrassing stories from everyone, like, it'd be unreal. Like, we could talk about Conor O'Malley, for example, who somehow managed to not get just one, but several injuries from shifting. Or I could just tell you the story about how I was a part of a lesbian orgy in Jack's bathroom at his 18th. But I can't tell you that story because we're too busy debating about fucking memes. Okay, anyway, so let's just have a look around at the people on proposition and the people in opposition for a minute, you know? Like, whose opinion are you going to value more? Like, okay, take Niall, for example. Niall, I find it weird that you're even on the proposition side of this debate. I mean, look at you. You are like a meme someone made of a typical dweeb. Like, you're pale and ginger, for starters, and like you think you're a relatively big deal in a debating society. Like, not only are you a big deal in a debating society, which, like, for starters is nerdy enough, but like this is the nerdier choice of the two, like, which is really fucking saying something. But anyway, like, then again, the Hist at least admits that we're nerds. Like, the Phil think the fact that they're always on coke and so much glitter floating around is coming out their asses makes them cool, despite the fact that they're really spending their college years posting memes on debating ship posting while wanking to their own reflection. Also, like, seriously, has anyone seen this guy Pierce around before? I mean, we have no idea who he is, so I don't know why we'd listen to his opinion on memes or literally anything. So what I found out about Pierce from about 30 seconds of Facebook stalking is he's doing nanoscience. Which I feel like I would have known if I had ever seen you before. Like, I mean, just look at you, you're the most nanoscience person I've ever seen. But anyway, my friend does nanoscience, so I asked her about what Pierce was like. And here's literally the only thing she said to me. Okay, she said,
in our S2S chat on the first day, he was like, I'm Pierce, and I live on the south side, which is the proper side of Dublin. And she still hasn't quite forgiven you for that, anyway. So basically, what I'm saying is, Pierce, like, all I know about you is that you're just a complete and utter wanker. But then, like, we should have guessed. We should have guessed you're such a typical Southside wanker. I mean, I think that, like, you have to be an absolute douche to be in nanoscience. Like, hello? Just wait. Have you ever had a conversation with James and Luke? Like, sorry, I don't know either of you. This is unfair completely. Like, Luke's the type of guy who wants to make sure that you know that he's better than you. But he'll also go crying back to mommy in, like, his castle when you make fun of him for sounding like Prince Charles' strange son. Sorry, I stole that joke from last week's debate. Don't give me credit for that. And, like, as for James, he's just, like, the definition of basic. He's just like, and that's it! But then again, it's not like I trust the opinion of anyone in the hiss at all, really. Like, take a look at the committee, for example. It's just full of fuckboys. Well, okay, hang on. Let me just take a minute. I mean, Kevin Smith is the obvious exception.
Not bad.
Wait till the end. Like, he's just a gentleman of the highest order. Like, in fact, he actually offered to help me during my first few weeks of college. Yeah, no, and with no ulterior motives whatsoever. Yeah, go on.
Did he offer you a tour of GM?
I'm about to give you a word-for-word quote of what he offered me, and you are exactly right. Where was I? Let me just read a message he sent me on Tinder. Have you gotten the full tour of Trinity yet? I can show you around the whole of GMB and Shiz if you want. Winky face. Like, isn't he just such a great guy? It was just so genuinely helpful, and like I really appreciated having a pal to help me out without trying to get his bit or anything at all. But then, of course, I have to bring up Jack Kennedy. Everybody drink. I mean, when I saw Anya talks about Jack on the Ornell bingo, I gotta be honest, I was feeling the pressure a little bit, because I mean, like, what even is there to say about him? Like, when I see Jack with the rest of the committee, he reminds me of that 11-year-old who would always hang around with a bunch of 16-year-olds. They always had bikes for some reason. And his nickname would be Mousy or Ratty or some other small animal. And he'd just generally be pretty irrelevant to the group. Yeah, go on.
Am I as irrelevant as that time when I forgot you existed?
That's my next paragraph. You'll be happy to know. Also, he's just not a nice person. So, I'm sure lots of you have heard the story of how Jack and I have been old family friends practically since birth. And, you know, I know, right? And we've been really close for forever, yada, yada, yada. But as he mentions, that's not quite how our friendship has actually gone. Oh, shit. Okay. When we were 11, you know, we got a bit too cool for family events. So for Jack, that was about a week ago. And, you know, we didn't really see each other anymore. Anyway, so when we were 15, he started going out with my friends. He was added into our group chat, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, he sent me a friend request. I was pretty excited. I thought we were going to be friends again. You know, I was happy for a big reunion. I sent a little message like, oh, long time no see. But he forgot who I was. Like, he genuinely forgot my existence in the space of 4 years. Did not know who I was at all. So, yeah, basically my point is the dickhead. My point is Jack's a dickhead. Also, yeah, memes on Facebook are like really important to me, like in my personal life. You know, they're really, really important to me because, like, I live for gossip, and there's no better way to find out who's shifting who than by seeing who's tagging each other in memes. Like, banning memes would be the worst thing to happen to finding out dirt on people since, like, when Facebook got rid of Snapchat best friend, when Snapchat got rid of best friends. So, yeah, I just don't think there's any better form of romance than tagging each other in a meme. Like, Billy and Oisin are literally constantly clogging up my newsfeed by tagging each other like, we get it, you're happy together, you're adorable, whatever. Like, okay, not so cute in my relationship because yesterday my boyfriend tagged me in a meme that said, how I'm preparing for Valentine's Day, and it's just a picture of these two fingers lifting a little weight like this, which, okay, it's disgusting. So anyway, yeah, memes are great, and I appreciate I haven't really talked about so much in my speech, but yeah, I beg you to oppose and stuff like that.
Oh, sorry, just before Sam does a speech, I'd just like to point out that we've had a text in about Anya. Anya, I swear I didn't go to a Southside private school, Corrie, who takes out on Sam for being in a private school.
I'm from the north side, can I just point that to everyone?
Anyway, Sam.
Okay. Now, this has been a bit difficult because my things on my phone. Okay. Memes. Harmless fun or slippery slope to joining r/Paul. Now, I'd love to stand here today and tell you that those dat boy memes you've been seeing in your friend's newsfeed aren't a symptom of major depression. But I'm not going to say that anyway. On to some, I would say rebuttal, but let's be honest, it's more like a roast. On my right here sits the stunning redhead I've been telling my mother about. The man who's fucking ignored me in his speech. Okay. The first thing that Niall did when he sat down was open the red wine. Not to be overdone, I've been trying to keep up with him, but I'm 2 glasses behind and it's now empty. Niall wanted to talk about his inclusive of the people in speech, you know, which would help people outside the GMB understand. Go. Have you ever heard of a chap called TV Anyway, so Niall wanted to be inclusive in his speech, but he decided not to. Seems like he hates women or something. Now, I don't actually know anything about Anya, who's been quoted here as being the local French woman. So I'm going to instead talk about another French person I know who's into EU players, a guy called Yanis. Yanis is a great friend of mine, but his furniture was stolen by DU players, which is why I'm pointing that out. He also, if you want to go find him, has a mustache like Anya, and he looks like Groucho Marx. I wasn't entirely sure how long the speech was, because I started writing it 20 minutes ago. So I'm going to include a roast of myself in here to pad the time. I forgot my ID earlier on today because I was planning on going out drinking tonight, like I did at Galway. I'm kind of hoping that tonight doesn't end like Galway as well, where I was crying on the floor of a McDonald's. Catherine's going up after me, and I can't well roast her. But I can maybe light a small fire with some Tinder jokes. Actually, do you know what? Your laughs tell us everything we know. Do you know what tells us everything else we need to know? The fact that I sit beside, sometimes behind, sometimes in front, and on a bad day, as far away as possible from Piers, and yet know fuck all about him. Give it up for our man of mystery. I actually have nothing written down for 5, which is a shame, but I would like to point out that on the bios everybody's handing out, I'm the one who wrote the joke about the anxious crying and facts. Liam is probably the smartest person here at the Hist. And my evidence for that is, every time I talk to him, he looks really annoyed with me and disdainful and walks the fuck away. As for our last person, Connor, who I believe is actually a doll, owned by our very most important librarian, who was a biopic coming out, Jackie Kennedy. This is evidenced by the fact that Jack was playing with his fucking bow tie earlier on today. Now, memes, like them or lump them, they're here to stay. Or are they? Yeah, this is the speech I wrote. Here. Memes are an integral part of life, argue these idiots. They're a tool for communication, you might hear from the mouths of some people. But maybe they're not the most important thing in our lives. The Oxford English Dictionary describes memes as hilarious. Maybe a more nuanced. Okay, apparently so. Sam Brown, Scott, doesn't like my joke. Maybe it's not scholarly enough for you. I'm gonna continue raising my voice until people laugh again. Am I going left?
Here. It's the reason you're on top because you just think the memes are too dank to handle.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Now, there are some harmful memes, you know. There are. Like this meme that every time I talk to somebody goes, "Oh, you're that Jew." Now, this has happened 3 times today, and it's a meme which I'd really love to fucking die already. Now, seriously, how long do I have left? I'm really talking here. Okay, as a final thing, I'm going to talk to you about why we really actually want to ban memes. This first one is onto Facebook. And the second was a couple of weeks ago when my friend's Nan posted Pepperidge Farms remembers when they weren't thugs, they were the N-word. This is why I believe we should ban memes. I hope you all agree with me and propose. Thank you and good night.
There we go. I yelled yes.
So, this is going to be a bit of a shit show. I let Catherine read my speech before I came up, and she was like, "So it could be funny, but it could be very, very strange." And we're going for very, very strange. But first things first, some rebuttal. Niall, thanks, really cool. I'm going to get Nicole to revoke your shifting privileges. We also got something out of, Sam about how I matched with Niall. I think that was what he was trying to say. I matched with Niall before I knew he hated memes and joy and happiness. And in my speech today, I'm going to be talking about how we get true love when you have memes in a Valentine's Day extension. Yeah, that's the strange part. And also, why the hist should literally, if it wants to live, which maybe it doesn't, but if it wants to live, this is going to be a bit shit. But first things first, 2 questions. What is love? Correct. And do you believe in life after love? So if you're unsure, memes and I are going to show you the way. Grilling, frying, and roasting will all be interwoven. So true love. Let me set the scene. It is 8:05 on a Sunday night. A fresh, hot meme has just dropped into rating shitposting. You see it, you don't necessarily understand it. Maybe it's something about a short diagonal and you're like, what the fuck is that? Sounds like a load of shit some losers care about. Go for it.
I believe it's called short diagonal third.
Thanks, yeah, I have poor taste in men, we've established. Anyway, yeah, fresh hot meme has just dropped. And maybe you're a bit confused. Your instant reaction, wow. Wow. You are, wow. Bewilderment, you're gonna wow react, right? So you wow react. Maybe it's about milk. And then, you see, only 2 other people have wow reacted. I posit to you that these people are your soulmates. I posit to you that you have, connected with these people on a deeper level. That, memes are something that are, intensely personal. That means so much to each of us. That memes have the capacity to unite us. And that, this is really how we get true love. That's what I feel. You're elated. You feel happier than ridiculously photogenic guy. Or Niall Maher when he heard there was going to be a pizza reception before the debate tonight. And maybe you'll message your newfound soulmate and be like, whoa, sweet react, bro. And like, maybe you won't, but you will know. You will know that you have found true love in the react section of a meme on Debating Should posted. And that is something that is just not going to happen on their side of the house where they ban memes. I told you this was going to be weird. Anyway, so yeah, like these people would just want to like deny true love to everybody, because I think this is the only way we get true love ever, right? So like Niall, Sam, like Pierce, Liam, like look at yourselves. Like, is your world so devoid of hope that you would strip everybody else of it? Like I knew that Niall.
Have you not heard those speeches?
I knew that like Niall and Liam were sadder than like Donald Trump on Twitter. But like Sam, Pierce, I've never seen you guys around. I held out this weird hope that you'd be super cool and you'd get up and be like, yeah, we said we'd be on prop, but memes are great. But like instead you're just like boring, dull people who just hate memes and want to stand up and be mean about people. No, thank you. Then on to my second question. Like, you know, as posited by Cher, do you believe in life after love? Right? Have you ever known crushing heartbreak? No? Okay, just me. Anyway, have you ever felt true devastation? Like when your true love like shifts somebody else in doils? Like, no thank you. Like, I posit to you that at this point in time, the only way you can process this possibly is through memes. You see Pepe, and you say green. You say green with jealousy. You say blue tears. You say, like my devastation. You say, this is how I feel. You say, Pepe is everything that I have ever like felt in my life. Pepe is like deep, dark pain. Pepe is suffering. Pepe is just like looking at the world through like fresh eyes, and you're able to put it into perspective because you're on my side, on you.
Yeah, but it's really funny, please.
Go for it.
Is the suffering that you have like felt yourself from being rejected by John Kerr?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, Hopeless Cause. The song played by Catherine Pacifico is a song that I wrote about the devastating, crushing heartbreak I felt when John Kerr just didn't love me. And Pepe is how I got over it. And I was able to say, you know, it is funny, heartbreak. Well, hey, you can write a song about it. And like, it's, you know, you can put it into perspective because it's a meme and you still know that, you know, it's funny. But in that moment where you are truly heartbroken, Pepe is what gets through it, right? But also, right, onto some more stuff. Like, memes are actually, like, really, really healthy. Like, tag your enemy in the saddest, deepest, darkest shit on Facebook. Tag them in this, like, meme that says you want them to get into the sea, at Catherine Profitero. They will think that it is a joke. They will think, whoa, like, cool, Catherine, such camaraderie. I'm so glad we're friends and you can roast me. But you know that you deeply, deeply hate all men. And this is the only way that you get to vent, right? And you just don't get that on their side of the house. On their side of the house, nobody gets to express any emotion. And like, we get some really extreme actions. Like without memes, Catherine would literally throw men into the sea. The hist might actually stop 12-year-olds from debating in the chamber. Sorry, Jack. And Luke would actually kill the poor. Like, the hist has enough feelings already. We cannot like suppress them. It's unhealthy and results in extreme actions like killing the Phil, shifting the Phil, or, I don't know, like orgies, just saying, bad idea. So like the hist in and of itself is a meme. And I know that we all hate ourselves. Like I'm really aware it shows in the memes. But like really, love yourself. Look at Doug, cry at Pepe, live, like be like Julie. You know, don't descend to their level. This is how we keep love alive, and this is how we live.
My time. Chairperson, fellow speakers, meme lords and meme ladies. I'm very happy the opposition has lowered the standard so much so I can come up here and deliver my profoundly unfunny speech urging you to ban memes. So why will this be so profoundly unfunny? Because, as mentioned, I have a synthetic sense of humour and memes are no laughing matter, despite what the opposition might be trying to tell you. So I'll discuss how memes are a threat, not only to the wider public, but to this particular society. and how they encourage the spread of the most obscene of traits and professions, and how memes will eventually become the tools of the Big Brother state in which we will all worship Jerry Adams. But first, I think we need to begin with some context to the danger of memes, seeing as I barely heard a word about memes so far this evening, and don't expect me to roast anyone. I don't know any of these people either. So, in an obscure and largely unknown section of the Book of Revelations, it says, "And I saw the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the 4chan saying, 'Come and see.' And I looked, and I behold a green frog, and his name was Pepe, and hell followed with him." So this dawn of memes is typically considered to have begun with the plague of the dancing baby gif, and then it was succeeded by the now ubiquitous lolcats. As a proud owner of cats, I find these memes profoundly and deeply offensive. They try to say that my cats don't understand human grammar or syntax. Ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you, with my many, many hours every single weekend and all of my free time, staying only with cats and avoiding all human company, I can tell you that cats understand syntax well enough. But the best known example of this type of meme is probably the "I can has cheeseburger." It hurts me to say those words, ladies and gentlemen. This is usually considered to be the most toxic creation of mankind so far. Agent Orange has nothing on this meme. No thank you. No. So you might think that just an anthropomorphized cat wanting fast food isn't a danger to our society, but you would be very, very wrong when you consider the cumulative effect of such memes as the "I can has cheeseburger," excuse me when I vomit internally, said that again, and also the, for example, Irma Gerd girl. It hurts me to say that as well. So when we consider the cumulative effects of these memes, this is the reason for Ireland having one of the lowest literacy rates in the Western world, I believe. So in an OECD report, we ranked 17th out of 24 developed countries. So you might think that, oh, we're just a little bit below average, memes aren't doing all of that, but Ireland also has the lowest median age. And if you just look at all the correlations, if you have all of these correlations tacked out with strings on a big board, like you see in that particular meme I want to ban, then you will see that there is a direct causation between Ireland's younger population, meme consumption, and sheer idiocy. I have used up half of my time. How did that happen? So, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot allow our language to be so degraded and eroded by this flood of low-quality memes and shitposting, which is all of it, really. The opposition didn't want to mention that part. And people who think that they can actually written. And the even worse, entire generation growing up not knowing what it means for something to be dank or spicy. So you think, yes, what?
Have you never heard of cheeky nanas?
No, I spend all of my time with cats, I told you that. So, the second point that I would like to make is that there is one social institution that I was under the impression that most people here want to overthrow. It seems not to be quite the case. That these memes that are apparently so innocuous and entertaining are actually fuel for it. And that is capitalism, ladies and gentlemen. So consider for a moment the infamous meme Trollface. It was from a comic which was copyrighted, and since then the copyright has earned its creator over $100,000. I didn't just make that figure up, probably. No thanks. So, but then when you consider the other side, Rick Astley, infamous for Rick rolling, has earned only $12. So when we consider this, we see that there are two situations. One, where the creator of the meme is adequately given credit for their creation or for having their face slapped, or having text slapped onto their face, and a second instance in which they are not but earn obscene amounts of money. Either way, it doesn't matter. This is all contributing to a greater problem in our society: the proliferation of law students. Because that didn't go down as well, I'll take a meme.
So, do you not feel that the economy is run on rare pepes?
I believe that was one of the points on the bingo that everyone should know. Someone printing out a meme. Shame on you. Shame, good sir. Oh, thank God that's nearly finished. Then there is a darker use of memes still. When we think about iconic posters, for example, used for recruiting soldiers during war, like Uncle Sam, the infamous epitome of America, wise, imperious, friendly, commanding, and stern. If you haven't seen this, just imagine Ronan, but the opposite. Then when you also consider the picture comparing recently shared by Donald Trump Jr. comparing Syrian refugees to a bowl of poison M&Ms, you realize how truly ridiculous this meme culture is, almost as ridiculous as the Trump administration itself. I know that's a lazy joke. I'm desperate here, people. So we as social creatures think that just because there are some words slapped onto a picture, it will probably be true. But what I would like to point out, as I mentioned earlier, Sinn Féin will eventually rise to power. And Sinn Féin is well known for their excellent use of memes. For example, I have seen on the Young Fine Gael's secret discussion group, they do not have good memes, they do not have good banter. The best joke they've posted in the last few days is, if Catherine's opponent's information on Garda whistleblowers brought down the government, could you say they were Zapones? That is... So when we consider this, Sinn Féin easily have the wherewithal to brainwash all of us with their immense power of memes into people unironically believing that Gerry Adams wasn't in the IRA and leading to us all worshipping his various ducks and his scarf. So to avoid such a calamitous event, I am far more over time than I expected. To avoid such a calamitous event, I must beg of you to ban these memes when we still have a chance. God save our souls.
Well, wasn't sure what to start with, but I guess I'll just go in straight into Knife Stephen. That song was played because a few weeks ago, Stephen told me after Trinity IB when I said that unfortunately I hadn't pulled, well, Sive, you couldn't pull a pavement if you tried. Stephen and I have this amazing relationship where he flirts with me and I pretend not to notice. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, so like following the whole Sive couldn't pull, he did, I mean, I wasn't sure what to make of it, to be honest, but definitely asked me out for Valentine's Day. I regret to inform you, Stephen, I was at Phil Ball last night, and probably not exactly what you're imagining would be happening, but sure, look. Yeah, so I hope our friendship can survive this, but... yeah, what the fuck is with the motion? I know it's already been said, but like, no, actually, like just why? it's like, no, Stephen. Like as in, I know it's the hist, but like really memes, really, like, I mean, Shift and Drift would have been a bit better, but I guess, you know, it's not the Phil and like, you know, Sherlock. Yeah, fair. Yeah, no, like just, you know, shifting, not really like huge thing unless you're the 12-year-old super eager librarian making his way through his version of Wes, the Irish debating circle. Like, how the fuck did you pull Orla and Lorna and you're just pulling above your weight? Yeah, no, shifting, not a huge hiss thing, like, I guess, you know, unless, like, there were to be an orgy, I don't know, but then the whole drifting thing kind of makes it awkward when you have to see everyone every day and you had an orgy in the building, and why, like, it's just so bad. Yeah, but, like, I guess memes come up because, like, it's, you know, it is the hiss, and you're all too awkward to talk to people, so you just tag each other in memes, and that's grand. You know yourself. Okay, I didn't write a speech. Let's go. I just, Niall, yeah. So, like, Niall's, like, not a big deal. He's a reasonably sized deal, is how he phrased it when he did first phrase it. Niall, size doesn't matter. It's all right. You don't have to tell us it's all right. He's just, like, why is he on proposition? He's just trying to be a bit relevant. And isn't that the saddest meme of all? Like, oh, why is he banning memes? Because, like, without that, what have you got to say ever? Like, you know, ginger emoji milestone is what he's hoping for, but, like, nothing he does is important, so he can't ban memes because it's Niall, sorry. Like, and also just Pierce. Like, okay, so, like, I've never, we still haven't spoken in person, but my first interaction with Pierce was him messaging me to tell me he had accidentally Facebook stalked me and unadded me from the group for this debate. And when you're, you know, thinking up memes to go with people, you know, the guy in the mirror, and it's like, why are you like this? You didn't have to tell me. You didn't have to say it, and you did say it. And, like, just why? Like, just memes? Like, just why?
We're feeling a little bit
Well, I mean, I've always got Kevin Smith and Jack Carney, so that's fine. Sorry, he has to get roasted, even if he's not here. It just has to happen. And, like, I didn't really know what to say for Anya, because, like, you're just really nice. And Catherine wrote a song about John Kerr, and, like, oh my god. It's not, like, there is the pop version, there's also the acoustic version. She did, in fact, ask to have a song recorded for her love of John Kerr. I don't know, maybe like preemptively just trying to copy Catherine Kratzky over here. That's another one on the bingo. You know, both blonde and beautiful and into John Kerr. I don't know, like, sorry he's not here, but, like, you know. Ian Wolfe was supposed to be talking here tonight to know him, but, like, he's glandular fever because of fucking course he does, because everyone in fucking Hist has gotten glandular fever because of fucking course they did. Why? And Liam, I don't know you that well. You seem nice. You didn't include me in the fucking meme thing last night, even though you're banning memes and you're for memes. And is it a bit because, like, you just recognise how bad it is to spend so much time making memes? Yeah.
On the idea of recognition, I didn't recognize you because your profile picture looks absolutely nothing like you. And it's so hard to tell.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe Pierce can describe my profile picture. No. And then Conor O'Malley, just, oh, he's my husband, in case you didn't know. He signed. Oh yeah, it's a big fucking shame. Like, it's a bit of a sham, to be honest, it's fine. You'll note in his bio, he's called Pidge, and that's because he doesn't like birds. And when thinking of lovely moments in our marriage, I recall a time about, like, 2 weeks ago where he almost pushed me into the road because a seagull came, like, within, like, 7 or 8 meters of him. Almost got run over. It's fine. It's all right. Yeah, oh shit, whatever. I just kind of wanted to talk about Jack a bit more, because Jack is, like, the most roastable person alive. Just, like, why are you like this? Like, Jack got that, like, cat, what, the ask cat thing? What was it? That one. And I was his first question, of course. Why are you the way you are? I never got a good answer. I was like, you know, he's just cute little 7-year-old old me. Yeah, and it's just, yeah, he does get younger as it goes on. It's a bit like Benjamin Button, only he's continuously dressing like a man in his mid-50s. Like an asshole. Like an asshole. Speaking of assholes, Alex Newell is here. Alex Newell was my partner in Oxford. And, like, I don't know what was worse, having to speak with him or, like, having a really prolonged, like, sinusitis and chest infection. It was so fucking awful. Like, honestly, Sam's speech was more comfortable than your presence that entire fucking time. It was so bad. I didn't just stop trying to ban memes, because, like, what else would you do with your fucking time? I didn't think this would happen, but sure, look. Like,
I would like to decide for her, it's like
Firstly, I'd like to say thanks to Luke and James for those fantastic and hilarious minutes. It's always a struggle to get people to laugh like with you rather than at you. Is that right now? It seems that the Hist has learned like the importance of putting Luke further up the speaking order, like so much so that they forced him to do minutes with James. You see, they learned that from past debates that giving him access to free alcohol and forcing him to sit there and listen to other people talk for once doesn't usually end well. But Luke is a great part of society. He really contributes a lot, even though he hasn't broken yet. But I heard. Hold on. I heard I was talking to him tonight, and he said he wasn't sure if he wanted to run for an MP position. He stated it was because he had scalds or something on, but I would use that excuse too if I lost 2 elections already. Anyway, I wish I had much to say about James, but all the ammunition has already been used by Lukey Boy up there. But when I was trying to think of something to roast him on, my mind kept going back to Nixon, who I often compare him to. And it's true, the two of them are quite similar. Both of them come from failed ranches. Both of them have a tendency to be called dicks. They also have the same make war not love policy, although looking at James, I don't think he'd be able to do either. Anyway, moving on from the minor roast onto my substantive. When I was told 5 hours ago that I would be speaking in this debate, 2 questions popped into my mind. Firstly, would I be doing the vegan, neoliberal economic, or Luke Fettley Jammy Dodger extension? And secondly, how could I bring myself to debate against one of the most important things of my life? Memes. I figured today I'd focus on the negative aspects of memes, aka talk about a bunch of stuff I don't really believe in, just like when Jackson talks about being left-wing, or when Luke says he's middle class. And on that, he bought that suit just for this debate. Hashtag release your tax returns. You see, these negative aspects that I want to talk about, it's people only look at the humor of the meme when they see the meme. It's easy to make jokes about taking out your genitalia for a dead gorilla without questioning whether it's okay to laugh at a brutal, clearly politically motivated murder. Hashtag Bush did Harambe. It's easy to sing Happy Birthday to Michael Coleman and ignore the fact that he's definitely developing some kind of PTSD from this. I can imagine him at a family event and saying, "Not me, not me." Yes, ma'am.
Here, what's a doggo ever do to you?
I'm a cat person, obviously. Yeah, and it's easy for people to tag and Republican memes without actually questioning if those proceeds actually go to a 32-county United Ireland. But what I want to focus on, on the negative aspect, I want to focus on 3 groups of people. Firstly, those who have become memes. Secondly, those who consume memes and why it is inherently damaging. And finally, I want to talk about the most prominent and important actor in this debate, me. So firstly, we have to talk about those who have become memes and how this can harm them. For example, if we look at a prominent example of Harambe, the power of the meme was thrust upon him in the wake of his death. While certainly funny, the impact of this on the Cincinnati Zoo cannot be denied. While they were mourning and they asked, people stop making memes, they were memed off the internet. They had to shut down their social network site. No, thank you. Now we can make a similar comparison to, no, thank you, my good friend Niall here. Good friend. He's just he's your typical average run-of-the-mill guy. He's just literally has no interesting features. And through the power of memes, he has this title of big deal thrust upon him. Now Niall has never been able to live up to this title. He knows this, but he does the best to mitigate the damage by trying to rephrase it into a moderately sized deal, or even deny the name altogether. But what Niall didn't realize that was by denying the memes, you only make them stronger. Don't believe me? Just look at his bio. There's not a single social interaction that he has with the history of the film without it coming up and tearing him apart. No, thank you. But those are not the only victims of the meme menace. When we also look at memes, we also look at what it does to the general public. Now, for example, no, thank you. When Joe Biden hides the White House switch in the lighthouse, hides the light switch in the White House, and leaves the Trump administration conducting their business in the shadows, something usually associated with Hillary Clinton. Is it okay to laugh at that? What about when Ronan socially engineers, about people impeaching him? So when people actually called to impeach him, they just laughed off. No, thank you. Or like, even when Connor tricks unsuspecting friends into believing that he's a level-headed, fiscally responsible Thatcher supporter, when deep down, all he wants to do is steal from you, I'm sorry, tax you. No, thank you. How about we talk about the most recent diabolical use of memes to sway public opinion? Now, for those of you who weren't there at Galway, you missed one of the most best thought out and excellently executed cues in debating history. My pro, Jack Kennedy, created and became the leader of the Debating Council of Ireland in a single show trial-esque announcement that Now, this might have been met with some resistance. No, thank you. But while he was still up there, like, trying to decide how much of the budget of debating would be allocated to nuclear deterrence, his cronies in the crowd were already making memes of "I am the Senate," like completely ignoring the fact. No, thank you. Ignoring the fact that he just launched a serious undemocratic coup. Now, I'm not saying that if Mussolini had access to memes, his rise to power would have been smoother. But I'm just saying that they wouldn't hurt. I'll take an hour.
Okay. I had a 30-minute conversation with Jack today that was done entirely through the meaning of trashed up stickers. I guarantee he said more useful things during that than that entire council speech.
Anyway, on to my final part about me and why I'm the most important actor in this debate. And how it affects me. Now, guys, you know I love memes. Memes have earned me friends, prestige, and most recently, alcohol, if I actually get that nagging I was promised for making the best meme. But like, have memes always, like, been good to me? Like, the meme I made last night earned me a nagging. But what did it cost me? Firstly, it cost me time I could have spent doing something mildly more important, like chatting with friends, making myself a meal of actual substance, or I don't know, like, doing something with my degree. Best, what can you say? Not only did it cost me time, but it damaged my friendship. Like, several people that I couldn't fit into the image hit me with these sad and angry reacts. That I'm sorry, Eamon. I'm sorry, Darren. I'm sorry. And like, I have a folder on my computer titled memes, and in this folder are 100 like files of just close-ups of various people's faces that I use to Photoshop onto memes. I'm not saying like out of context. Like in context, that's pretty weird as it is. Out of context, I feel like during a police investigation, it's going to be pretty like hard to explain to them. It's just for memes, bros. Come on. I ask you, friends, my colleagues, my Niall, is it fair to
what friends?
Is it fair that I have to be the one person making memes on this page? I say, ban them for Niall, ban them for yourselves to consume them, and most importantly, ban them for me. I beg you, please ban them.